We know what that noise is, right? It's kind of hard to hear right now. You hear, yeah. That is the wheel bearing on the passenger side. I've already done the diagnostics. There you go. Hear that nice whining noise. Puddle. So we're going to be doing the wheel bearing on this car today. But we're going to be doing something first that I should have done a long time ago. We are going to Harbor Freight. What are we going to buy here? I don't know. Okay, so the plan was I was going to buy my first ever impact wrench. But Harbor Freight, they don't have it in stock. They're running this deal where you buy the battery. And of course you got to buy the charger and you get the tool for free. Well, the tool being offered with the promotion, they don't have it in stock. They don't know where it is. They don't know when it's going to be in. The Wentzville store might have one. I'm not driving an hour and then an hour back. You know, we're just going to do this old school the way we always do it. Maybe it's just the universe telling me it's just not the time to buy an impact wrench. So I've already had this thing in the garage. I've had it up on jack stands. I've determined 100% it is the passenger side. And I put this off for far too long. I got the part in from Detroit Axle, so we're just going to get this done, and we're going to do it old school. First thing I got to determine if the hub nut is the same size as the van. If not, I might have to go buy a socket, so let me check that out. And of course, it is not. This is too small. This is a damn 34 millimeter. I guess it's going to be bigger than that. I'll figure out what size it is. We'll go buy a socket. Okay, so it's a 36 millimeter. I'm just leaving O'Reilly's. And he says, hey, bring it back within 48 hours. It's another $21.92. Another $20 socket that I'll probably never use again. So yeah, I'm just going to bring it back and get... This is like a... You know, you pay the full price, then you bring it back and get your money back. You're basically renting it. Because I'm never going to use the other one again either. So, but it has to be brought back within 48 hours, they say. So... All right, then. Okay, what's the lesson we learned last time, boys and girls, when dealing with a hub nut? We crack this bitch while it's on the ground, right? I don't know how much torque is going to be required. I'm going to try to do it without a breaker bar first. We do have the right socket, so let's see here. I can't hold the camera and do this at the same time. I did have to break out my incredible 6 foot. I always thought that was 4 foot. That's about 6 feet. It's a little bit taller than me. Breaker bar steel pole. I cracked it loose. I think it'll come off with no problem now. Oh yeah. Yeah. No problem. Okay, got the car up on a jack stand. The hub nut came off. No problem. Fought a little bit of rust there, but these are probably the original wheel bearings. So that will run the tire. Of course, throw the tire under the car. I got a jack stand and I got a jack backing that up, but if the car does fall, I'd rather it smash the tire and not me. So, let's see what my brakes look like. Oh, the brakes, we still got a lot of brakes left in here. So, of course, we're going to take the caliper off, caliper support, and then there's 3 bolts that hold the hub on in the back, and then the whole thing should just come off. You see, this is one of those GM cars where they just had to do everything different. You know, the brake caliper's got like heat sinks or something on it. There's some weird release thing in the middle, some sort of retention. I mean, what the hell is this? I see what I was doing. I had to compress that caliper a little bit. These brake pads have a little, they have a little peg there that holds them in, so you have to compress the... I didn't worry about compressing the piston because, I mean, look at these pads. I'm not replacing these pads. There's a lot of life left on these pads. Let's see what the back one looks like here. Back one's pretty much the same, maybe just a little bit less, but lots of life left on these brakes. Okay, I got my caliper suspended up out of the way with some wire, so it won't be in the way. There's 2 bolts that take the caliper to support off, and then discs should come off. And then we should be able to take the 3 bolts out, and this whole thing should just pop right out. The caliper support came off with little effort. I did use a little breaker bar that I had just made out of conduit to put on my ratchet. Wouldn't need that at all if Harbor Freight would keep their shit in stock, but whatever. On the disc, we don't have any of that hex bullshit like we have on the van, so about 5 minutes later, had to whack it quite a bit. I put some lug nuts back on it just so I wouldn't damage the studs, and it was on there. I ended up knocking off a lot of brake dust. So before I take my 3 back bolts out, and I do notice there's just a little bit of light grooving in this disc. Just a tad bit of just really light. Although I don't have any problem with uneven braking or any jolting in the braking or anything, so I'm just going to leave that alone for now. You just run your fingers across it, just a slight groove. Nothing to be too alarmed about. Like I said, it brakes just fine, nice and smooth. So I'm going to take a break. I'm going to go get a glass of tea. I'm still getting over a cold, so I'm going to get cleaned up. I'm going to clean up all this brake dust that I knocked loose. And then we just have one bolt here, here, and here, and then the wheel hub should come out. Might have to put the center nut back on and just give it a whack and just knock it out of there, but should just be the reverse. You know, the installation is the reverse of taking it apart. Okay, about a half hour later, I took a little break, got a little fluid, clean up my mess, and my 3 back bolts are coming out good. I got those 2 out. They're a little tricky because you're working around the drive axle and everything. Unplug the old ABS and get the old connector out of the way. The new wheel hub comes with a built-in ABS ring. So I'll get this last bolt out, and then we'll give it a tap in the middle. It should drop right off. This is going to be a pain, huh? Yeah, I might have to bang on this a little bit. Well, we'll get it out. A little banging later. Wasn't too bad. Got it out. There we go. Got to be careful not to damage this is your APS, your ABS mounts, sensor connector, I mean, mounts on the back there, so don't want to damage that. There's our old wheel hub. Man, a trick to this I found on YouTube as far as diagnosing it. The guy said jack the car up, put it on jack stands, because sometimes it's hard to know what side that noise is coming from. He said grab the spring and rotate the tire, and you'll feel it rubbing. And I did that on the driver's side. It was smooth. I didn't feel anything. There was no play. This side had just a tad bit of play, but when I grabbed that spring and rotated the tire, I felt it. I felt those bad bearings. So shout out to that guy. I'll try to find a link to that video, put it in the description if I can find it. There's our old hub with our old ABS ring. Let me get the new hub. It's over there in the box. I got to get it all unpacked. And again, shout out to Detroit Axle. Boy, they shipped this to me. I had this in 2 days. This just less than half of the price of what AutoZone and O'Reilly charge. And this is the second hub I bought from them. You can see it's all greased up and everything. Everything's nice and greasy, so my hands are going to get nice and greasy here, but we'll get it put on there. You got to be careful to feed your ABS line in, hook it up to your bracket, hook all that up. And now it's just, we put it all back together. I would consider the job halfway done at this point, right? There's our new hub. I got my 3 back bolts torqued. I'll just put this guy on here, and we'll torque him down last. Once we get the wheel back on the ground, I'll apply as much torque on that as it took me to get it off. So our torque should be good. Now we put our caliper support back on, our brakes. We got to hook up our ABS connector, don't forget that. And then put the tire back on and tighten that center one down. Should be good to drive. All went back together really well. I'd say maybe in the fall we'll do the brakes. Brakes got a little bit left on it. Maybe in the fall or maybe even next spring. At the latest, we'll put new pads on. That all went back together good. I got everything torqued out. I put 1 lug nut just to hold the disc flat while I'm working. I don't want it flopping around everywhere. And there it is, all put back together. I'm going to go get cleaned up, put all my tools away, get everything cleaned up, and then we'll run back to O'Reilly, take them their socket back. And then we'll jump on the highway and make sure the noise is eliminated. Oh my God, that noise is gone. Oh, listen to that. You're probably just hearing the blower from the AC. No more noise! No more noise! No more noise! I love it. Job well done. Would have went a lot better with the impact driver or impact wrench, the one I was going to get. Maybe it's just the universe telling me it's not quite time to buy an impact wrench. Sooner or later I'll get one. Oh my God, look at that. I'm driving down the highway with no noise. I've been listening to that noise I put this off for far too long. I was just waiting for my damn wheel to come flying off every time I get on the highway. I'm going to drive the highway for a minute. Man, look at that. Look at that. All I hear is road noise. I hear no wheel bearing at all. Beautiful. Mission accomplished. You guys have a good one.